This has been, hands down, the most chaotic month in modern American politics. And the craziest part about it is we still have about a week and a half left. So Trump had his speech last night. I listened to most of it. To be quite honest, the man went on for a very long time in true Donald Trump fashion. But the first 20 minutes or so of that speech was just absolutely amazing. And here's a quick clip from it if you didn't get a chance to watch it.
On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Like I said, the first 20 minutes of that speech was very moving. All things considered, what happened on Saturday. And I feel like the problem with the way this news cycle runs, especially in an election year, that even something of that magnitude, people have seemingly kind of moved on from it. It's only like the very politically engaged people on Twitter that are still talking about it and talking about the holes in terms of what happened with Secret Service. You know, so much, facts are starting to come out now about how this seems as if it could have been totally prevented quite easily. So despite, again, the magnitude and the significance of an attempted assassination on a leading presidential candidate, it seems as if people have kind of moved on in a way. But I think that's just a symptom of the way the news cycle is, where it's like, okay, big thing happened, let's move on. But anyway, first 20 minutes of Trump's speech was amazing. The convention overall was just fantastic, judging from what I saw. It seems as if the message for the convention was basically, this is a new Republican Party, and if you like America, join us. It seemed as if the only requirement for that convention, for what the Republican Party is right now, is you have to have a love of this country and want to see this country do better, and also acknowledge that the Democrats are not the best ones to get the job done. And they have been able to bring a ton of people under the Republican fold because of that message, and it's wonderful to watch. Let's just hope that things continue on for the rest of the election cycle as well as past November. But anyway, so that's what's going on with the Republicans. The Democrats, on the other hand, are not having such a good time.
This is a message for white establishment Democrats right now, who for some godforsaken reason are finding themselves like Representative Adam Schiff and calling for Joe Biden to step aside 3.5 months until a fucking election. And then, by the way, also decide to leapfrog over the very capable and qualified black female vice president in order to pick whatever arbitrary white man you think can fill those shoes.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
Joe, don't listen to them donors. They don't speak for us. No. We voted you in for a reason. We nominated you for a reason. You and Kamala Harris. That's our ticket.
So yes, they are in quite a bit of a pickle, and it seems as if no one knows exactly what is going to happen with Joe Biden. I know there were reports that it was decided that he was going to step down and he was going to announce that sometime this weekend or maybe early next week or whatever the case may be, but AOC went on Instagram last night and she went on an hour-long rant about this whole entire thing. And I think she has a lot of, she had a lot of good points in terms of exactly like what's going on behind the scenes and what voters are not being made privy to. So here's a quick clip of that.
And I'm going to say what a lot of these folks aren't saying. I'm just going to say it. If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Kamala, Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Now that's nuts. That is nuts. The fact that they are so hell-bent on keeping Kamala from the top of that ticket is actually very... I don't know how to feel about it, because on one hand it's like, yeah, she is that bad, but on the other hand it's just like, so then what? Like, it's crazy. And I know this point has been made by literally every single commentator thus far, but I'm gonna make it again. The fact that the party that was so, hell-bent on protecting democracy and saving democracy is seemingly going around the democratic process to put whoever they choose on the top of the tickets and then force voters to embrace this person that they don't know. And that was basically AOC's point. Y'all cannot do that to the voters. In addition to that, there's going to be a whole bunch of other considerations that have to be decided on if we're going to have this open convention. And it seems as if because of the unknown, it makes more sense to go with what is known, which is either we're going to stick with Biden or we are going to put Kamala on the top of the ticket. Either way, you guys have to make a decision ASAP and you have to let voters know. So again, she went on for an hour and there were a couple of things that she said that I actually agreed on in just the way that the Democrats are doing this. And again, I am very Republican, but I am an American citizen at the end of the day. And what is being done to Democrat voters right now is actually just a complete disservice, because at the end of the day, they chose Joe Biden. It's not their fault that the media lied to them. It's not their fault that the other representative of that party lied to them in terms of Joe Biden's capabilities and his ability to be an 8-year president. That's not their fault, but they chose Joe Biden based on what they were told and shown about Joe Biden. So now that the hit the fan and everybody's like, oh my God, he's not going to win, y'all want to sit there and take the choice out of the voters' hands. That's crazy. So, of course, Biden's team is still being very stubborn. This is, I think, the head of the Harris-Biden campaign talking about this on MSNBC, and this is what she had to say.
And we see that, yes, obviously, of course, we're looking at analytics, we're looking at polling, we're seeing, what a lot of people are seeing, of course, but we're also looking at a lot of numbers that matter too, which is what is happening on the ground. And those numbers of our engagement with voters matter. So just as a sample, we did about 100,000 door knocks this week. So over the last few days, all across the battleground states, so just battleground states. And these are people which we would call re-engagement targets. So they're people that have been with us in 2020. Maybe they're not engaged in the race. Maybe they're, not as partisan and political as we are. So we have a little extra work to talk to them. And then expansion targets. These are new people that weren't with us in 2020, but because of what Donald Trump's done with Roe v. Wade, because of what's happened in this country, they are open to us. These are women, they're suburban voters, they're independents. So we go out and we're door knocking just this week. So this isn't in the past, this is this week. Did about 100,000 door knocks. 76% of those people we knocked on doors and we talked to are with Joe Biden.
The craziest part is that even in that regards, she's still not being honest, because at the end of the day, a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris, because Joe Biden is not making it another 4 years. Like, I'm not wishing death on the man. I hope that if somehow magically he's elected, that he, lives a healthy life. Okay. I hope that he goes whenever God is ready for him to go. Right. But we have to live with reality. And the man is clearly, like literally hanging on by a thread. So voting Joe Biden in is basically voting for a Kamala Harris presidency. And they're not even restating that point to their voters. They're being so disingenuous. Again, this is a complete injustice that's being done to Democrat voters. But listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all. As a Republican, I am very happy to watch this happen because at the end of the day, they did this to themselves. They were not honest with their voters. They were not honest with themselves. They decided to go the route of lying and just crossing their fingers and hoping for the best in 2024. And all of that is now hitting the fan. And it's crazy because even with Joe Biden's cognitive obstacles, I feel as if if they ran an honest campaign, I mean, let's take out the lawfare, let's take out the complete just disingenuous way they present Donald Trump to the American public, like run an honest, real campaign about the issues, they would have probably had a better chance than they do right now. But because they just default to lying to their voters and propagandizing their voters, this is the position they have put themselves in. If they had played fair, then they would have been in a better position. So they did this to themselves. Because again, if they were honest to their voters, then they would have probably had a primary and had a better candidate. But the crazy part about this is that despite all of this, right, I do feel like a lot of this is completely outside of the hands of the Democrats, because what is happening with Donald Trump is mythical. It's almost unbelievable. I was looking at the now iconic picture that was taken right after Trump had been shot in the ear when, Secret Service was rushing him off the stage with the American flag in the background, Secret Service trying to push him off, and he has his fist in the air. And you look at a picture like that, and it's almost hard to wrap your head around the fact that happened organically. That was not AI. That was not Photoshop. That was a real organic moment. There's nothing they can say to discount that. There's nothing they can do to take away from just what Trump has been able to overcome. And also just what a crappy candidate and President Joe Biden has been. So it seems as if, honestly, there's not much that they can do. And I feel like there's people that are starting to come to terms with that and have decided to just stick with the status quo. And I think that's maybe where AOC is, which is like, bruh, we're in a tight spot regardless. It's going to be way more messy for us to have this open convention and try to sell Democrat voters this new person that they're suddenly going to have to learn about in a matter of like a couple of weeks before deciding whether or not they want that person in that White House. So we're better off just sticking with Joe. But I don't know. I mean, I am so happy for Donald Trump. I am very happy for the Republican Party, and I pray for his protection as he continues to campaign all the way through till November, and I hope that he makes it. Okay. And to the Democrats, all I have to say is good luck.